In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, I would like to welcome all of you students of today's lesson, which is going to be about Unit 6. Inshallah, today we will start new unit. And of course, as usual, we will start with listen and discuss. Let's see the objectives of today's lesson. Today, inshallah, we will identify the meanings of moral and ethical, discuss the situation in the three dilemmas, select the best attitude among the dilemmas, okay? So here we are going to know new words, of course, and the new vocabulary. As usual, here we have the revision, of course, and we talked about the project, and I've asked you to do what? Do you remember? Very good, okay? You have been asked to select some animals for a zoo in Saudi Arabia. Then, inshallah, you are going to research and find out about these animals, okay? Then you have to make notes, okay, in the chart, of course, about what? About the natural habitat, I mean the place or the house, okay? Their eating habits, then their enemies or friends, and even their origins. Where are they exactly from, okay? Then you have to do the booster, as you can see. This is the chart actually you could use, and of course you can see here the information you need. For example, the scientific or common name, okay? Country of origin. Also, what do we have? Here we have the eating habits. Very good. Enemies and friends. Space requirements, and we're talking about the environment, okay? The environment, talking about these species or creatures. What do they like, okay? Other characteristics, for example, we took that the chameleon, for example, okay, can change their colors, okay? So here I'm talking about the characteristics. What's so special about these animals, okay? So you have to give me more information about this research and find out. Finally, reasons for selection. Why did you choose this animal? Okay, is it because it's famous in your country or in any other country in Asia? Okay, so you have to give me a reason. Make notes. Use this chart to make a lot of notes. Today, inshallah, as I said, we will start a new unit, which is Unit 6. And can you tell me the name of this, or the title of this unit? Yes. What would you do? Mainly in this unit, inshallah, what we are going to do, let's see the goals here, or the objectives of this unit, okay? Of course, we're talking about vocabulary, talking about the moral dilemmas, okay? Discuss ethical dilemmas or give opinions, okay? Then about grammar, we will talk about present hypothetical conditions versus past, okay? Conditionals, of course, okay? Also, in listening, we are going to listen for specific details. Then, what about pronunciation? We'll talk about stress, okay, on content, words, and function words, of course, here, as you can see. The reading, we will talk about peeking into our medical future. Okay, so this is the main title of the reading here. And writing, we are going to write a personal narrative about an important decision that has impacted your life, okay, or impacted your life. Form, meaning, and function, as usual, we talked about this, and this is actually a grammar, future progressive and future perfect, as we said earlier. Then used to versus be used to, and we're going to know the difference between these two. Was, were, going to, or in the future, or in the past. Future, in the past, okay? So here, these are the main unit goals we are going to go through, inshallah, in the next maybe 8 or 9 lessons, inshallah. Okay, so let's start our lesson today by this question. One of your friends asked you to read a poster he did already, okay, and he told you that he already wrote this booster, okay. So when you read the booster and you realize that he copied it from an internet or the internet, okay, so what you are going to do? What would you do? Okay, this is the main question for you in this unit. So as you can see here, this is the title of the unit. What would you do? Now let's see, listen and discuss. Number one, what do you think the words moral and ethical means? Okay, this is the first one. What do you think about moral and ethical? What are these words? We talked about that moral and or ethical, that's something behaviors. I'm talking about behavior, good or bad. Okay, if it's good, then it's moral and ethical. But if it's bad or it is bad behaviors, okay, or something like that, then it is immoral and unethical. Okay, so mainly today, inshallah, we are going to discuss this. Now, have you ever been tempted to do something that wasn't right, and how? What does it mean have been tempted here? Yes, so you try to do something unethical, okay, or wasn't right, was not good. Have you thought about it? Maybe, okay, but how? You are going to explain this. Then, do you think in every situation there is always a clear right and wrong thing to do in each situation? Why I am asking you this? Okay, inshallah, next we are going to see 4 dilemmas that are talking about situations, okay? And of course, I'm gonna ask you about what would you do, okay, if you were in this place or in this situation. Okay, so now on page 82 and 83, of course, but we'll start with 82. We are going to read, okay, of course, about the first dilemma here, okay, number 1, as you can see, this is number 1. Now you are going to read, of course, and you are going to listen at the same time. Listen and read. Then, inshallah, I'm gonna ask you this question. Would you have done what Rose did? Okay, so now we are going to read and listen. Try to think about this situation, okay? If you were in this situation, what you are going to do, okay? Let's start listening.
Unit 6. What would you do? Pages 82 and 83. 1. Listen and discuss. 1.
Russ is at the airport to catch a flight. He is on his way to his brother's wedding. His flight is about to leave. As he runs through the terminal to his departure gate, an elderly man suddenly slips and falls in front of him. The man cries out in pain. Russ knows that if he stopped to help the man, he would miss his flight. If he missed his flight, he would miss his brother's wedding. Russ runs past the man as if he hadn't seen him. Would you have done what Russ did?
Okay, this question is for you. Would you have done what Russ did? What happened in this situation? Can anyone explain? Yeah, Russ, where was he? Okay, he was in the airport or at the airport, okay? So Russ is at the airport. Why? To catch a flight. To catch a flight. Does it mean that you need to catch a flight or to catch the plane, to catch something? No, of course, okay, because I'm talking about catch a flight, it means that you have a flight to go on, okay? For example, with a plane, a ticket and boarding pass, of course, and so on, okay? What happened here? Okay, while he was in the terminal, talking about his flight is about to leave, of course, as he runs through the terminal, okay, to his departure gate, and an elderly man, an old man, okay, suddenly slips and falls in front of Ross, okay, falls in front of him. What happened here? The man cries out in pain. Ross knows that if he stopped and helped this man, of course, what will happen? Okay, he will be late, or he would miss his flight. Okay, he would be late for the flight, of course, and if he misses the flight, occasionally what will happen? He will miss also the wedding, his brother's wedding. Okay, so Ross runs past the man as if he hadn't seen him. Okay, so if you were in Ross' place, what would you do? Think about this. Are you going to help the elderly man or not? Maybe, okay? So here you can have your own opinion. Try to think, okay? Try to answer using this situation I'm talking about. Are you going to help the man or past him, or past the man as if you haven't seen him? Very good. Now, we are going to move to the second one here, another situation. Also now, you are going to listen, okay, and you are going to read along the listening. Let's start. Number 2.
2. Mike is taking an extremely important history test. The test will determine whether he passes the class. Mike has been studying for the test day and night. He feels well prepared, but when the test is in front of him, Mike's mind goes blank. He can't remember anything. It is as if he had never studied. Sam is the best student in the class and is sitting right next to Mike. Sam's paper is close enough for Mike to see the answers. The teacher is not paying attention. Mike knows that if he copied Sam's answers, the teacher wouldn't see. What would you do if you were Mike?
Okay. Would you cheat? Why? Because in this situation, what happened here with Sam and Mike? Okay. Why? Mike is taking an extremely important history test. So he's taking a history test. Okay, but the test will determine whether he passes the class, of course. So the test is important, extremely important now I'm talking about. Okay, then Mike has been studying for the test day and night, but when he he feels well prepared, but when the test is in front of him, what happens? Mike's mind goes blank as he study nothing, okay? So he can't remember anything. And of course, it is as if he had never studied. Of course, Sam here is the best student and he's sitting next to Mike, okay? So here, right next to Mike. Sam's paper is close enough for Mike to see the answers. Okay, so the paper of Sam is close enough to Mike to see the answers. Okay, do you think now the teacher is not paying attention? Mike knows that if he copied Sam's answer, the teacher wouldn't see. Okay, now the question is, what would you do if you were Mike? This question is for you. Are you going to cheat? Even the teacher, if he not paying any attention to you or to Mike or to Sam or to the students I'm talking about. Okay? Would you cheat? Would you do the same as Mike here? Look, this is Mike, of course. Okay? And this is Sam. Are you going to be like Mike? I hope not. Okay, very good. Now let's move to the third one, third dilemma we have here. Also, this one you are going to listen and read along, please. Let's go.
3.
A ship strikes an iceberg and 10 passengers crowd into a lifeboat that is only intended to hold 9. The lifeboat slowly starts to sink because of the extra weight. If it does, all 10 passengers will die in the freezing water. The captain considers his choices and decides to force the weakest individual out of the lifeboat. He reasons that if he did nothing, everyone would drown. This way, only one person drowns, and this person would have drowned anyway. Others on the lifeboat feel that this choice is morally wrong. They say that if he did nothing, then even if none of them survived, at least no one would be responsible for anyone's death. If you were the captain, what would you do?
As usual, difficult choices, okay, or decisions here I'm talking about, okay. What happened here? Can anyone tell me? In this ship, and when talking about the lifeboat, do you remember? Okay, a ship strikes an iceberg. New word for you, okay, and 10 passengers crowd into a lifeboat that is only intended to hold 9. So they are 10, and the lifeboat, of course, takes only 9 passengers. Okay, so we need one, okay, to at least to throw one, okay, and 9 will go on the lifeboat. The lifeboat slowly starts to sink because of the extra weight. What does it mean to sink? It means that to goes down in the sea, okay, or in the water I'm talking about, okay. So if it does, all 10 passengers will die in the freezing water. Why? Because of the weight, the extra weight I'm talking about here, okay. The captain considers his choices and decides to force the weakest individual out of the lifeboat. Okay, so he decided to force the weakest individual out of the lifeboat. So why? He reasons that if he did nothing, if the captain did nothing, okay, everyone would drown, will sink, okay, everyone. But he had to make this choice, okay, or to decide this one, okay, because this way only one person drowns, okay, and of course the rest will survive. But here, and this person would have drowned anyway. Others on the lifeboat feel that this choice is morally wrong. I'm talking about something immoral or unethical. They say that if he did nothing, then even if none of them survived, okay, what will happen? At least no one would be responsible, okay, take responsibility, of course, of anyone's death. Now, the question, if you were the captain, what would you do? Are you going to let anyone drown or to sink? Are you going to at least to find another choice or another solution? Okay, another lifeboat, for example. Maybe, okay, so the decisions are tough or difficult sometimes, but you have to do it. You have to do it. The final one here, number 4, again, situations, another situation, talking about think that as you are going to be in this situation, okay? So listen and read along, please.
4. Mariana has struggled in science class for years. This year, to help motivate her, Mariana's parents have told her that if she receives a B on her report card, they will help her buy a cell phone. But Mariana has done poorly in the class and knows that her final grade will be a D. The day her report card is due to arrive in the mail, Mariana arrives home from school and is greeted by her parents with hugs and smiles. She takes a look at the report card and sees that her grade in science is an A. Clearly, this is a mistake, but Mariana can get away with it if she doesn't say anything. The cell phone is only part of the reason that she's tempted not to say anything. She also dreads the idea of seeing the pride on her parents' faces vanish. What would you do if you were Mariana?
Are you going to fake or lie to your parents in order to get what you want? Eventually, I'm talking about. Why? Because in this situation, like Mariana, what happened here actually with her? Okay, so Mariana has struggled, okay, in science classes, okay, for years. But this year, to help motivate her, what happened? Mariana's parents have told her that if she receives a B, at least, talking about degree now, okay, the degree, a B on her report card, they will help her buy a cell phone. So there is a reward for her if at least she got B. But Mariana has done poorly in the class and knows that her final grade will be a D. Okay, so she will not have, of course, the cell phone. The day her report card is due to arrive in the mail, Mariana arrives home from school and is greeted by her parents, okay, with hugs and smiles. Okay, hugs and smiles. She takes a look at the report card and sees that her grade is science an A. Okay, so what happened to the face here? I'm talking about the facial gestures, for example. I'm talking about Mariana. Okay, so here clearly this is a mistake. Why? Because Mariana cannot get away without it, of course, if she doesn't say anything, okay, can get out, okay, away with it, okay. So the cell phone is only part of the reason that she is tempted, as usual, okay, and we said that tempted, something you want to do, okay, or you thought to do, tempted not to say anything, okay. So here she also dreads the idea of seeing the pride on her parents' faces, okay. So her parents was proud and happy for the results, of course, okay. But here, what would you do if you were in her place? I'm talking about Mariana. Are you going to lie? Are you going to tell the truth to your parents? Okay, why? Because here she won the cell phone. Now you can say that if she wants something, okay, she must or she have to do better, okay, and of course to study and at least to get grades in order to have the cell phone, okay. Very good, nice. Now as you can see here, we will move to quick check, okay. So complete each sentence with one of these words, okay. We have these words here: dread, motivate, tempted, morally, responsible, and vanish. Now, let's start. Number one, who is for cleaning up this mess? What do you think the answer is? Number two, my mother's cookies always, moments after she takes them out of the oven. 3. The beautiful weather helped me to go outside and get some exercise. 4. People should feel that it's wrong to buy stolen goods. 5. I taking final exams next week. And finally, number 6, I was to watch the film on TV, but I made myself study instead. Okay, now let's go very quickly and find the answers of these sentences here. Of course, using only one word out from this box. Let's start. Number 1. Who is responsible for cleaning up the mess? Number 2. My mother's cookies always vanish. Means to of course, to disappear or to vanish, of course, moments after she takes them out of the oven. 3. The beautiful weather helped what? Helped motivate to get something to, or to encourage something or someone to do something. Okay? To encourage, motivate. Number 4. People should feel that it's morally wrong to buy stolen goods. Okay? 5. I dread taking final exams next week. Okay? Finally, number 6. I was tempted, I wanted to do or thought about it. Okay? I was tempted to watch the film on TV, but I made myself study instead. Okay? Made myself study instead. The last slide we have today, comprehension. Of course, you are going to answer these questions depending on the dilemmas or the 4 dilemmas we talked about. Okay, let's start with number 1. Why is Ross at the airport? Why? Now, this is a question for you. Because he wants to catch a flight for what? Do you remember? Yes, okay, so he's flying to his brother's wedding. He's going to flight or he's flying to his brother's wedding. Number 2, what does Ross decide to do? What does Ross decide to do here? And actually, he doesn't help the man, but hurries to catch the flight. Okay, run toward the flight. Okay, very quickly. Number 3, what is Mike considering doing? Okay, and why? As you can see, he is considering cheating on his test. Why? Because he cannot remember the answers. He cannot remember the answers. 4, what's the problem on the lifeboat? What happened here? Do you remember the captain? And as I said, the decisions that he made. Yeah, okay, there is only enough space for 9 passengers, not 10, only 9 passengers. And finally, number 5, why is Mariana tempted to not tell the truth about her science grade? And actually here, we talked about this, because then she will be able to buy a cell phone and her parents will be proud of her. Will be proud of her. Very good. Now we have finished our lesson today. And as usual, we are going to see the objectives, identify the meanings of moral and ethical. We said that's something that the ideas or something that behaviors, I'm talking about behavior, if they are good, then it's ethical and moral. But if it's bad or something bad, then it's unethical and immoral. Then we discussed the situation in the 4 dilemmas, of course. And finally, select the best attitude among the dilemmas. I would like to thank all of you for watching us today. And inshallah, I will see you at the next lesson. Goodbye.